The two children buried their sleeping father in the sand, unaware that danger was fast approaching. Suddenly, a thunderclap struck the beach, and the sand on the man's chest hardened instantly. He tried to move his body, but blood began to flow out of the sand. Clearly, the hardened sand had already cut into his body. The man realized the situation was dire and quickly told the children to call the police. However, when the firefighters arrived, they found that not only the man's body, but also the surrounding sand had turned into sharp glass. After a brief examination, the paramedic noted that the man was losing consciousness and his breathing was weak due to blood loss. However, they dared not pull him out of the sand carelessly. Instead, they hurriedly began clearing the surrounding glass shards. The firefighters were puzzled. How could lightning strike on a clear day? But there was no time to ponder that now. They carefully removed the glass around the man. After several hours of digging, they finally managed to free his head. However, the scene left everyone stunned. A long, thin piece of glass had pierced the man's carotid artery. Due to the high temperature caused by the lightning strike, there were burn marks around the wound. It was precisely these burns that, even after stopping the bleeding, made it impossible to remove the glass at the scene due to limited equipment. They had to wait until they reached the hospital to extract it. The team doctor took out a needle and inserted it into the man's neck to administer an IV. Others continued to dig out the man's body, unsure if other parts of his body were injured. The child standing nearby began to blame himself, thinking that if they hadn't been playing and buried their father in the sand, the man wouldn't have been injured. Soon, the man's limbs were all dug out, and all the firefighters breathed a sigh of relief. Although other parts of his body were injured, they were only superficial cuts. The firefighters prepared to pull the man out, but as soon as they grabbed his arm, his artery burst again, causing bleeding, and everyone became tense once more. The team doctor quickly pressed the wound to stop the bleeding and used a rope to tie the man's upper arm, temporarily halting the blood flow. Time was running out for the man, and they needed to rush him to the hospital. But just before getting into the ambulance, the father called the two children over. Even now, he didn't forget to comfort the two children who had caused his injuries.